Hi class, this is your Postlab video. So we are going to be going through page 12, the analysis. Let's see here. So I'm going to talk through real quick how to finish filling out table 2. So if you turn on page 12, we'll be looking at analysis N. It says calculate the masses of the iron, salt, and the sand recovered and record your answer in table 2. So you cannot use the numbers from your table 1 data, right? You're going to have to calculate how much of the iron was recovered. How are you going to do that, do you think? And then how much salt was recovered? What is your mass that's recovered, right? We have the mass of the iron recovered plus the plastic bag in table 1. So now we need to come up with just the mass of the iron, salt, and sand recovered, okay? So you're gonna fill those masses out in table 2 once you've figured out how to do that, and then you're going to add those up to get the total amount of the mixture recovered, okay? You're gonna add those up. So is everybody's numbers gonna be the same? No, right? So you guys are divided into groups, but in your particular group, your numbers will be the same, right? So you were supposed to measure out between 2 and 3 grams of the mixture, right? So group A might have had 2.6 grams and group B might have had a full 3 grams, okay? So you're now calculating how much iron, the mass of iron you actually got out of that mixture, the mass of salt, the mass of sand you actually got out, and then you're gonna tally that up and find out how much of the mixture you actually recovered, the mass, okay? So that's how you do analysis for N. And O, it says calculate the total mass. We just went through that as well. But down below then it says, let's see here, percent of the mass recovered. So if you look on table 2 on the far right, it says percent composition, okay? You guys do percent composition all the time and you probably don't realize it, okay? So all percent composition is taking your portion and dividing it by your whole, okay? And then you've got a percent. So let's say you got 82 questions out of 100 right, okay? You would take 82 divided by 100. That would give you 0.82. And then if you multiply it by 100%, you got an 82%, okay? That is basically the percent composition of what you got right. And then henceforth, you got 18% wrong, right? Because you're coming up with your percentage, which is at a total of 100, okay? So that's all you're doing with percent composition, okay? So it shows you then what you're going to do. You're going to use your component mass, which is what you just calculated in table 2, okay? Here's an example. Let's say for iron, right here, the component mass I got for iron, which M stands for mass, this little I stands for iron. Let's say I got 0.48 grams of iron, okay? That is going to be my iron recovered from table 2, okay? My mass. And then in the equation that they give you says to divide that by your total mass, okay? That is actually your total mass recovered, okay? Which again is going to be on table 2 where it says mixture recovered in your mass, okay? Let's say mine, this is not gonna be everyone's, but my mass of my mixture, okay? This big M is my mass, the little m is of my mixture, was 2.56 grams, okay? So I'm gonna take my mass of my iron and divide it by my mass of my mixture and then multiply it by 100%, okay? That is going to give me my percent composition, okay? So in my case, it would be 19%, okay? So I'm saying that 19% of the mixture that I recovered was actually iron, okay? So that's how you find out your percent compositions for table 2. Then you're gonna do that with each of your items, right? Your iron, your salt, and your sand, okay? So then number 9, you're gonna need my information in order to fill out number 9 and number 10, and maybe even the rest of them too. But, so it says, obtain the original percent composition from your teacher. Okay guys, so 20% of that mixture was iron, okay? 40% of it was salt, 40% was sand. 20% iron, 40% salt, 40% sand, okay? So you're gonna use that information and you're going to answer number 9 and you're going to answer number 10, okay? Let's see here. What else are you gonna be needing to do? So right below number 10, it talks about checking your percent recovered for efficiency, right? Basically, they're asking how efficient were you at recovering all of the iron that was in your mixture? How efficient were you at recovering all of the salt or all of the sand that was in your particular mixture? Okay, so very similar to the equation before, you're going to take the mass recovered, okay, which is going to be again on table 2, under mass, all the way down where it says mixture recovered, right? So you're gonna take your mass of your mixture that was recovered, and then it says divide it by your initial mass of your mixture. What did you measure out whenever you first got your sample size, right? Did you measure out 2.77 grams as your starting mass, or did you have a full 3 grams? What did you start off with? So you're gonna take your mass recovered and divide it by your initial mass, and you're gonna come up with a percentage, okay? So for an example, let's say that my initial mass, let's say I measured out whenever I had my sample, and I measured out 2.77 grams, okay? That was my mass initial. Mass initial was 2.77 grams, okay? And then let's say I tallied up how much iron, salt, and sand I got, and my mass recovered was 2.56 grams. So mass, and I'm gonna put an R for recovered, was 2.56 grams. Was I close to recovering all of it? Yeah, right? Was I 100%? Did I recover all of it? No, right? That would have been 2.77 grams. This is a G. I definitely got pretty close, right? I would be pretty proud of this. My guess is I'm gonna be like in the high 80s, low 90s as far as percentages. I came up with most of it, it seems like. I recovered most of it. So what I'm gonna do is just the same for the percent recovered. So I'm going to take the amount that I recovered, 2.56 grams, and I'm gonna divide it by my initial 2.77 grams, okay? And if I do this, you're going to get a percent times 100, right? My percent would be 92.4%, okay? If this was what I started off with, and then if this was what I recovered 92.4%. Not too bad, right? I think it's not too bad. All right, so I recovered 92.4%. You're going to put that number on table 2, down in the middle column where it says percent recovered, all the way down there in the mixture recovered, okay? And then you're gonna use that answer to answer number 12, okay? I'd be interested if anybody recovered over 100%. And if you did recover over 100%, how you can explain that, because it's happened before. And so how did you recover more than 100%, and why would that have happened? So anyways, that's interesting if that happened. And then also you can go ahead and answer number 13. So that completes your entire lab, okay? That's how you do the analysis. So you guys will complete all of this. You have, you've got your group. You're more than welcome to work in groups for your analysis, but I do not want the same exact sentences for your explanations, right? Your numbers will be the same, but your explanations and your answers should be your own words, right? You can come up with your thoughts and your ideas together, but put them in your own words. So go ahead and turn these in class next time we meet. Thank you guys.